Not a sweep, but can the Jays shut down the Yankees tonight in their own backyard? CP24's Phil Perkins continues our live team coverage from the Bronx this hour.
How about the fans who couldn't make it down to New York? We got a watch party to keep watch on in Toronto with our own CJ Lou live there with the Jays fans in the stands.
And baseball's not the only sport this city's buzzing about. The Leafs open their season at home tonight. We've got your preview.
And keeping an eye on other news, $10,000 or $100,000 for your tips to help arrest one of Canada's most wanted. A new list revealed today, the number one suspect wanted for a murder here in Toronto.
This is Live at 5. Good evening. I'm Bakari Savage.
And I'm Andrew Brennan. Welcome to Live at 5. We have a lot to talk about, and we got to get south of the border first. Looks like the Jays have a chance to clinch again. A second time? Is the second time the charm, Bakari? We don't know. But right now, we got to see how Toronto fans have been feeling, and a lot of other scared people. Maybe Phil Perkins in the Bronx. How are you doing, Phil?
I'm not scared. I really don't feel scared, Andrew and Bakari. I have a weird feeling about this. I think it's such a weird setup for Game 4. Obviously, there's no Chris Bassett, there's no Max Scherzer on this ALDS roster, and so the Blue Jays are forced to have a bullpen game in Game 4 because they didn't take care of business yesterday with a 5-run lead yesterday in Game 3 in the third inning and squandered, and there were 8 unanswered runs from the New York Yankees, and so now instead of, resting on the laurels and washing off the champagne and beer, they're putting out Louis Varland, who is no slouch at all. He has started before earlier this year, but it's going to be a rotation of relievers. We've seen the Yankees beat up in Game 2 and also most recently last night as well. Some heads up also who is starting tonight for this massive Game 4 for both teams, really, if the Yankees want to stay alive and if the Blue Jays want to stave off a do-or-die at the Rogers Center on Friday. They have improved their defensive additions to this team because yesterday was just very uncharacteristic of arguably one of the best defensive teams in the league. Some notable additions, Nathan Lucas, who did a great job on the plate and also defensively in Game 2 of the ALDS. Addison Barger getting the start. He was brought in later in relief of Isaiah Kiner-Falefa in Game 3, and also Anthony Santander. Now, we spoke to Nathan Lucas earlier today about the atmosphere here at Yankee Stadium and how we compared it to a raucous Rogers Center. We also heard from Giancarlo Stanton about the confidence he has in his team heading into Game 4.
We thought Toronto was a little bit louder, but New York, when they started scoring some runs, it started to get a little bit louder. Regardless, it's amazing to play under all this noise, and it's fun.
Knowing who we are, trusting who we are, I guess we don't mind the hard way sometimes. It's not ideal, but just being calm, being comfortable, and playing our game, just not trying to do too much.
And we're not sensing any anxiety with the Blue Jays either. However, John Schneider did mention that everyone is going to be available today. Everyone is going to be available in terms of pitching. There are some thoughts out there that maybe a starting pitcher, Kevin Gausman, who has not come out of the bullpen between starts before, could be called upon. He is out here. He is warming up. And so we'll see. Come game time, depending on what inning, does Gausman get a bit of action here and maybe setting up Trey Savage to a potential do-or-die for both teams in Game 5. Speaking of Blue Jays players, Bo Bichette, we got footage of him running without a brace here at Yankee Stadium. We caught the tail end of it. He was slowing down. It wasn't a gentle jog. He was running, and we caught him slowing down without a brace. Now, it doesn't matter how he looked. He's not on the ALDS roster, but as Vladimir Guerrero Jr. said leading up to this series, that they hope they win the ALDS, punch their ticket to the ALCS, and give Bo a shot to play for this team because they could obviously use his offense, but also his defensive prowess as well. Back to you guys.
Phil, I know you were up late last night because you were up early this morning texting with me about last night. We appreciate all the hard work you're doing. Keep it up. It's all going to be worth it when the Jays win tonight. CP24's Phil Perkins live in the Bronx. Let's bring it home to Mill Aspen Square and check in with CJ Lute. Listen, the city of Toronto hosting its own official viewing party for the Jays game tonight. CJ.
Well, Bakari, the city is a baseball city right now, and they want to make sure that everyone can get in on the playoff action, the excitement for free. So the city is starting to host these viewing parties, starting with Game 4 tonight here at Mel Aspen Square. It's a bit empty right now because we still have about 2 hours to go until game time, but they are setting up. This is the big screen where they're going to be showing the game, and there are tons of room here for Jays fans to fill the stands. They're being encouraged to wear your Blue Jays blue, wear your hats, wear your jerseys, and come out and support the team. And although there is a lot of excitement, a lot of nervousness as well, especially after Game 1 and Game 2, those statement wins, Jays fans were feeling great. And then there was Game 3, which felt like a gut punch, but the Jays really hoping to turn this one around, getting that win and advancing to the next round. We've been speaking to some fans all day. Here's what they had to say.
I'm not nervous. Toronto are very strong. They have good player and they have the momentum presently. So maybe I can't tell for tonight. Maybe they're gonna win, they're gonna lose. But there's two good teams. Yeah. New York are not bad too. If they're there, it's because they're good.
I think, the Jays are back. Even though we didn't win that game, it still shows that the Jays are coming back as far as they did in the 93 series. And I still think the Jays, can take it.
Go, Blue Jays, go! Go, Blue Jays, go! Go, Blue Jays, go! Go, Blue Jays, go!
Good job, guys. As you can see, lots of excited fans here. There's still a few hours until game time, but this is a generational sport. But lots of people will be packing the squares, including little ones here, generational fans, ones that saw the Jays go to the World Series back in the 90s. But lots of fun to be had here at Mel Aspen Square. The city says this is just the start of their viewing parties. They'll host another one for Game 5. Of course, we don't want that to happen. We want this to be the last game tonight. But the city says they want every corner to be a cheering center for the Blue Jays. They want the city to come alive tonight. And of course, it is free to attend. It is October baseball, so that means it's a bit chilly out here, light winds. So make sure you pack warm, grab some snacks, some drinks if you plan to come out here tonight. But the good thing is it's all free starting right at 7 o'clock when the game starts.
CJ Lou with a really adorable cheering section right there. Good job, team. We're going to hope for the best, right? Especially because we can't disappoint the children.
Right.
CJ Lou at Mel Aspen. No, not at all. And speaking of people that like to cheer on their team in the postseason, I think there's one other Toronto team in action tonight for the start of their season, and they're hoping that come early spring, there'll be some playoff viewing parties as well. The Maple Leafs back on the ice tonight, taking on those dreaded Montreal Canadiens. And it's CJ Lou just wrapped up at Mel Aspen Square. This is Beatrice Vaisman, and I think you're probably going to be having just the same amount of fun tonight, Beatrice.
No question about it, Andrew Bakari. I mean, the blue and white's not the only blue and white for the Blue Jays, but for the Leafs as well. They are back in action, and they are now, you're very much right in saying they're hoping to go all the way into the spring, into the postseason after a disappointing season last year. We'll show you what's happening in the square right now. Already, we're seeing all of the Maple Leafs jerseys, the blue and white starting to arrive to the square, and dare I say, even some of the red and white for the Habs as well. I mean, this is just an awesome rivalry, one of the original 6 rivalries you can imagine. The energy, the tension that's going to be inside the arena later tonight for the Maple Leafs home opener tonight. Puck drop coming up at 7 o'clock. And last year, the Leafs, of course, disappointed fans. Every year they say, this is the year, this is the year. And then it wasn't when they were ousted in the first round. This time they've got a blank slate. Mitch Marner has been traded to the Vegas Golden Knights. They've got some new guys on the team. There's a new right winger playing with Austin Matthews and Matthew Nyes. And once again, high hopes for the team. Here's veteran defenseman Morgan Riley.
Every group's different, and I think that's all. I think just new opportunities. for lots of players, lots of opportunity across the board. So the guys are excited and prepared, and I think it's been a really good camp. So guys are ready to go.
And of course, there's a lot of husband and wife fans, different teams, a lot of friends on different sides of this rivalry, including Fred and Lawrence, who I just met here. Lawrence, you going to sit with this guy?
Fortunately, I have to. He got the tickets.
It's going to be a hard night. It's going to be a hard night, but we got this.
Fred, you've been telling me you've been here to more than 10 Habs Leafs games. What is the rivalry like in the fans? What does it feel like in that stadium?
Lots of heat. You got to be watching your back all the time with the Leaf fans, that's for sure.
Ever got beat up for wearing one of these?
No. Came close, though. Came close.
That's a good thing. Let's use words, not fists, right? What are you expecting tonight, Lawrence, when you see these two hit the ice? I mean, a home opener for the Leafs is always a big deal.
Well, I got to feel bad for Freddie here because I'm pretty sure the Leafs are going to come out and slaughter the Habs like they normally do. So go Leafs, go.
Even though the Habs, have a better offense, a lot of prognosticators are saying this year they did better in the postseason than I think a lot were expecting, and the Leafs, womp womp. But this is the year, right?
Habs fans always say that. It's all good. Leafs got it. Leafs all the way.
Yeah, I'm still jealous of them. They got the cup in black and white.
It's been since '67 since our guys have hoisted the cup. The Habs have had it more recently than that. What do you think this year is going to hold? I mean, you've got a lot of pressure on Matthews. Marner's gone.
I think Leafs got a big, heavy team. Stolars and Wall can get back. I think we'll do just fine.
You miss Marner?
No, not really.
I guess. Do you miss Marner?
I would have took Marner if we had a chance. Absolutely. Yeah, the Leafs are going to miss him. That's for sure.
I'm a Marner fan myself. What's on the line here? Loser does what tonight? Loser does what tonight? What's on the line? What's the dare? Are you wearing his jersey? Is he wearing your jersey?
No, we haven't talked about that. No, but don't worry.
Buying dinner?
We got this by 5-2. That's what we're going to win it.
That's what you're thinking?
Yeah.
Ed, what are you thinking?
I got to say 4-1 Leafs.
4-1 Leafs.
Yeah.
Awesome. I'll take that one. Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it. I don't know about that. Freddie says, go Habs, go. Everyone here, of course, will be hearing a lot of the Go Leafs, go chants tonight as well. Puck drops at 7 o'clock. And again, this is a rivalry as old as the tale of time. So it'll be incredibly energetic, electric inside Scotiabank Arena tonight. Back to you guys.
Hey, Beatrice, where's your towel?
I left it inside the arena. I couldn't grab one from a poor fan who wouldn't get a towel, but Go Leafs, go.
All right, CP24's Beatrice Vaisman live outside of Scotiabank. Okay, it's 5:12. Let's get a check on the road with CP24's traffic specialist, Adjoa and Tiaya Bois.
Yeah, Bakari, so for commuters maybe trying to head to the Leafs game, you're dealing with problems that are happening on the Toronto-bound lanes of the QEW. This is just past Walker's line. Crews on scene of a collision that is blocking the left lane. So that is really impacting the drive. There's a bit of a delay, actually big delay, back into Burlington. Then up on the 401, if you're traveling on the 401 on the eastbound side in the Express, just as you make your way past Bayview, stalled truck off to the side, but it does have the right lane occupied. Also slow from Dixie, and checking in on the Don Valley Parkway barely moves this hour as you head from Dundas all the way up to the 401. We are dealing with some significant issues in Etobicoke. Westbound Burnham-Thorpe, you'll find that blocked at Martin Grove following a collision. As well, we are dealing with a serious collision on Thorncliffe and Overley. I'll send it back to you both.
This CP24 traffic report is brought to you by 407 ETR. Enjoy the journey with a stress-free commute.
And thank you very much, Adjoa. Right now, 5:13, 13 degrees outside. A lot of unlucky numbers there, but that has nothing to do with the Blue Jays.
And coming up, police are sharing the images of Canada's 25 most wanted fugitives. Top of the list, a man wanted for murder in Toronto. Well, police have disclosed a new list of Canada's 25 most wanted fugitives, and a suspect in the deadly shooting, which happened outside Yorkdale, that happened in July. That suspect is number one.
There are 24 others on this list, but our crime analyst, Steve Ryan, outside the shopping center tonight, talking particularly about this most wanted man and of the BOLO program. Steve, what can you tell us tonight?
Yeah, well, Andrew, the guy that you're referring to goes by the name of, or is known as, Brian Fuentes Garmejo. He is 23 years old, and as you said, he is accused now of shooting a man in his 20s as well, causing his death near Yorkdale Mall back in July. So as a result, this guy has made the top 25 most wanted list, the BOLO list, and he is now number one. So BOLO is a non-profited organization that started back in 2018, and they do tremendous work. They take images from police services across the country where the police have charged somebody with a very violent offense, those people who are a danger to the public, but the police can't find them. Those suspects or those accused are eluding capture, and as a result, arrest warrants are taken out for their arrest, and then Bolo puts their pictures all over all of their social media. And it's geo-targeted as well. So if somebody commits a murder here in Toronto, a warrant's taken out for their arrest, and let's say they flee to some remote part of British Columbia. Well, the Bolo program will target that area and blast their photos out in that specific area, and there's a reward between $50,000 and $250,000 if the information that you provide leads to the arrest of somebody who is wanted on this list of 25. We heard from many at a press conference out in Vancouver today, and here's what the Chief Superintendent, Joey Matthews, said with regards to the Toronto Police. Let's listen.
On the surface, we're talking about the death of a young man who was shot and killed in a parking lot of a Toronto mall on July 17th of this year. But devastating as that murder was and continues to be for that young man's loved ones and family, and unsafe as it has made that community feel, I've flown across the country today not only for the justice of one family or the safety of one community. Brian Fuentes Gormajo isn't from Toronto, and quite frankly, I doubt that he's there today. We believe he's a member of a Montreal-based gang called Zone 43.
So people who think they know where any of these 25 people are hiding can remain anonymous, just provide the information to Crime Stoppers, and they can get further information on boloprogram.org. All of those pictures will be there as well, and if your information leads to an arrest of one of these wanted people, there's a lot of money to be made. So thank you, guys.
All right, CP24's crime analyst Steve Ryan. Well, the Ontario Fire Marshal says a fire at a business on the Danforth was intentionally set.
And going back to this fire from the night, emergency crews responding to a restaurant, Danforth and Pape, on Sunday morning, finding it engulfed in flame. 2 people had to be rescued from the roof. No injuries, thankfully, reported. The Fire Marshal's office has since determined that the fire was a result of arson. Anyone with info is asked to contact Toronto Police.
It's 5:18, 13 degrees. This is Live at 5.
American Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick says Canada must come second when it comes to the auto sector and America first. The latest on the trade war coming up on Live at 5.
U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick dismissed any prospect of a comprehensive auto deal with Canada. This is while appearing virtually at the Eurasia U.S.-Canada Summit that was in Toronto today.
Yeah, now sources have confirmed to CTV News that Lutnick has told people behind the scenes that the U.S. could continue buying parts from Canada, but that's about it. That's a direct quote. He also said Canada should, quote, come second to the U.S. auto sector. Premier Doug Ford also attending the trade summit and responded to the comments this morning.
We want to manufacture automobiles here. We buy as many as we sell down there. As I've always said, the auto pack's been around since the 1960s. You can't unscramble an egg, you have to make the omelet larger.
Have you heard that from Secretary Lutnick before when you guys have had conversations or meetings?
Not as clear as what he said today. So right away, you got to put your guard up and be prepared. I know the auto sectors don't want it. They do not want it. There was a report the other day, they're going to be out $107 billion because of tariff costs.
General Motors in Detroit, Dearborn and Ford, Stellantis, that still has American brands that are centered out of Auburn Hills. All of them. Are you ready to possibly face bankruptcy, at least on some of your brands? Because the White House has an opinion on what types of jobs it wants to see. I don't think so.
Well, Prime Minister Mark Carney spoke during question period. This was about his meeting with U.S. President Trump after being grilled by opposition leader Pierre Poilievre on those tariffs.
Mr. Speaker, and I think it's important for the entire House to understand that we have a strategy with the United States. That means that our auto sector is paying less than 10% tariff. When Japan, when Europe, when the UK, when the rest of the world is paying 15, which is bigger than 10 or higher. And we are not done yet, because we refuse to sign a deal that isn't better in the interests of Canadians.
Prime Minister Carney and U.S. President Trump have directed their teams to move quickly on sector-specific trade deals, beginning with the steel, aluminum, and energy sectors. The U.S. has had 25% tariffs on vehicles imported from Canada that are not compliant with CUSMA, the Canada-U.S.-Mexico agreement, since April.
It's 5:23, 13 degrees. This is Live at 5.
Coming up, we're going to take a look at how students at one Toronto school are getting into the spirit of cheering on them Blue Jays.
Well, some kids were getting into the swing of things to support their hometown Blue Jays today.
Oh, this looks so much more fun than the silly Future Aces dance that we had to do back in the day. This looks like a fun thing to do at Scarborough's Hunters Glen Public School, doing their Jays rally today, getting in the spirit, joined virtually by students from other schools like High Bridge School in the Bronx for some good-natured cross-border baseball rivalry. Very polite, of course, no doubt. They'll all be asking their parents to stay up a little later tonight to watch Game 4.
They mean a lot to me, and they mean a lot to me since they're the only Canadian baseball team in all of Canada. They kind of lift Canada on its feet, and they kind of lift Canada up, and it brings really positive and happiness.
It means being kind to each other, cheering each other on, clapping for each other, even if you lost. At the end of the day, we all love baseball, and that's what really matters. That's what really brings us together and unites us.
These kids united, as they just mentioned, enjoying chants, Blue Jays trivia, and, of course, their own seventh-inning stretch.
But also, the Leafs, they're being celebrated at City Hall today.
I don't know if you guys at home can get this, but the person that's going woohoo in the background, that's our mayor, Mayor Olivia Chow, joined by several councillors and Leafs legend himself, Captain Crunch Wendell Clark, to raise the team's flag ahead of the opener tonight for the season. Chow talking about how much this team means to our city.
For many of our city, hockey isn't just a game. It's part of who we are. It brings families together. It sparks memories, and it creates community. And no team brings people together in Toronto quite like the Maple Leafs.
Well, also, the Toronto sign at Nathan Phillips Square is going to be lit in blue and white to celebrate the Leafs.
And also good colors for the Blue Jays. Right now, 5:28, 13 degrees, and coming up on Live at 5.
Let's go back to the Bronx. This is where the Jays are going to try again tonight to clinch the ALDS with a win against the Yankees. CP24's Phil Perkins is there. We'll check in with him in a little bit.
Not a sweep, but those brooms could turn to swords tonight as the Jays try to shut down the Yankees in their backyard. Our own Phil Perkins in the Bronx, continuing our live team coverage on enemy territory this hour.
And for the fans who couldn't make it there, we have watch parties in Toronto. CJ Lewis live with Jays fans still in the 6.
And baseball's not the only sport that Toronto cares about. The Maple Leafs opening their season at home tonight. We got a preview ahead, and
$100,000 for your tip to help arrest one of Canada's most wanted. The new list revealed today the #1 suspect wanted for a murder right here in Toronto.
This is Live at 5. Hello, I'm Andrew Brennan.
I'm Bakari Savage. Welcome to Live at 5. Okay, the Jays, they still have another chance tonight to clinch the ALDS with a win against the Yankees. This is after last night's disappointing loss.
Yeah, we're also going to have to check in with Toronto fans, how they're feeling in moments. But first, we begin in the Bronx with our own Phil Perkins. Of course, CJ Lou on the bottom right of our TV screens right now, catching up with her just after Phil does a bit of a scene setter on enemy territory. Phil, what's it been like today?
Well, now the excitement is definitely building up, Andrew and Bakari here at Yankee Stadium. Behind me here, the Blue Jays taking batting practice right now. Davis Schneider, I'm just going to double check to see if he got the start today. Just double checking, looking through the lineup. He is not on the lineup right now, but he could be called up at some point today in what is, in my opinion, a pivotal game for the Toronto Blue Jays. Yes, they just need to win one more. The Yankees have to win 3 straight games to try to punch their ticket to the ALCS. But it feels like for the Blue Jays, they just want to get this thing over with. As we see right now, Nathan Lucas up at the plate here. He is getting the start. He did not play at all yesterday in Game 3. As you remember, in Game 2, he, in my opinion, was the MVP with what he did defensively and offensively as well in that 13-7 blowout win for the Toronto Blue Jays that gave him that cushion of a 2-0 series lead. But yes, he is going to be starting here, as well as in terms of pitching, Louis Varland. He is going to be pitching. He was the one that threw that seemingly impossible pitch to Aaron Judge yesterday, 99 miles an hour, just 2 inches off his chest, and he somehow kept that thing fair for a 3-run bomb that made that a 6-6 game, and the Yankees didn't look past that moment. Also, in terms of what feels like that this is a must-win for the Blue Jays, because sure, you do have an amazing record in the Rogers Center. They've won 54 games compared to 27 losses at the Rogers Center. It feels like you just don't want to get this Yankee team hot. Not at all. They looked scorching yesterday, and here is John Schneider, the manager, talking about potentially dipping into the bullpen and bringing out 22-year-old Trey Savage, who was the star in Game 2 at the Rogers Center, instead of Kevin Gausman. This is what he said.
Probably Trey more than Kev tonight. You know, Kev's going to throw lightly off the mound here this afternoon. Trey won't. But I think that you got to kind of see how the game goes and see what the score is, see where they are in their lineup, who you have available in addition to Trey or Kev or really anyone. So we'll see how the game goes, you know, and I think that, again, one of those guys may factor in.
And one row behind.
All right, so yeah, that's just one of those guys, whether it's Trey Savage or Kevin Gausman. Gausman always pitching well against the Yankees. There's no doubt who's going to be starting today and playing a good amount for the Yankees. That is Cam Schlittler, the 22-year-old rookie who did amazing against the Boston Red Sox in their elimination game in the wild card. However, at that point, the Bo Sox never played Schlittler. The Blue Jays have faced him now 3 times. They're about to face him for the 3rd time. And the last outing against the Blue Jays, the Yankee was yanked at an inning and 2/3. And so it's going to be, it feels weird because this could have been a position where Chris Bassett or Max Scherzer maybe could have gotten a start, but now it is a platoon of pitchers up against the Yankees lineup, which is one of the best offenses in baseball, and in a game that, you know, you win and then you can sit back and let the Detroit Tigers and Seattle Mariners duke it out. It looks like that series could be tied at 2-2. They're going to a deciding Game 5. You could just win and just sit back and get a little bit of rest, get Bo Bichette, who was here running without a brace, help him get healthy, and maybe crack that ALCS roster. It's going to be wild. First pitch at 7:07.
Well, Perkins, it may be wild, but we know you'll break it down in a very sensible fashion, of course. And just to make sure that we all, you're doing a great job so far, Phil. Speaking of doing a great job, our own Cedar Lou is keeping track on how Toronto fans at the official watch party at Mel Lastman Square are getting set for this deciding game for Cedar. What's it like over there?
Well, they're just beginning to set up right now. There's still about an hour and a half until game time, until the big screen behind me lights up with the Jays game. But this is free to attend. I mean, the Jays are playing hundreds of miles away right now at Yankee Stadium, but they want the game energy to be high here as well. They're setting up right now, getting the lights, getting the sound, testing it, making sure everything is working. But as you can see, tons of space for hundreds of fans to come out tonight and watch the big game 4. And of course, this is free to attend. Fans are being told to wear your best Jays gears, your hats. You might need some mitts and gloves tonight because it is getting a little bit chilly here. But I have Winston and Matthew here, 2 Jays fans, to talk about how just fans are feeling in general right now. Guys, you know, the Jays won the first 2 games. It was a great feeling in the city. And then yesterday happened, that loss against the Yankees. How are you feeling going into game 4 right now?
I'm feeling pretty confident. I think they can probably pull out a win. I know yesterday wasn't looking so good, but I'm looking forward to seeing Vladimir play.
What about you, Matthew? Are you feeling confident or a bit more on the nervous side?
I'm pretty optimistic about today. I think we're gonna make a good comeback. I'm hoping Springer is gonna hit some singles or doubles, maybe a home run. So.
How does it feel right now to know that the Jays are so close, just one game away from the ALCS?
Very exciting. I think it's going to make big history. I think it's like our second big winning if we get up there on the top. So.
And who has been your MVP so far?
Probably Vladimir. I'm hoping he's going to hit a couple more home runs today. So best wishes, and I can feel the energy in Toronto as well. So.
Yeah. Hopefully we can see another grand slam like he did earlier. That would be nice. And speaking about the energy, I feel like even if you aren't a huge Jays fan from the jump, the city is just buzzing right now. How are you guys feeling just talking to your friends, your coworkers?
Oh yeah, all my colleagues at work are talking about the game. It's getting really exciting for sure.
Yeah.
Any opportunity that my coworkers have, they're definitely turning on the TV and taking a quick break and watching the game. So. That's awesome.
That's how we're all feeling. Well, thanks so much, guys. And hey, Blue Jays go. We're all one team tonight. Let's go.
Let's go, Blue Jays.
Let's go, Blue Jays. And if you do want to come down and watch the game, you don't want to be at home, you want to feel that community spirit, you can come down here to Mel Lastman Square. That's why the city is hosting this. You know, it is Game 4, and they plan on hosting this for the games to come. They said for Game 5, of course, we don't want that to happen. They said they'll continue hosting this. And as we get in deeper into the playoff series, they'll be expanding the venue. But first things first, get through Game 4 tonight. Everything is free tonight. It is a little bit chilly outside, so if you do plan on coming down here to Mel Lastman Square, I would suggest you bring your gloves, a hat, a blanket, and of course, you can't forget your Blue Jays gear. But all of that starts just after 7 o'clock today when the game begins. Back to you guys.
Okay, from the home of tonight's watch party at Mel Lastman Square, CP24, CJ Luke. Well, the Jays, they're not the only Toronto sports team in action tonight. The Leafs, they're getting ready to open their season against longtime rivals, the Montreal Canadiens.
Yeah, and potentially wanting to start the season on a right note, defeating those dreaded Bleu, Blanc et Rouge. We have our own Beatrice Vaisman at the Scotiabank Arena talking with fans, even talking with a few Habs fans, Beatrice. Are they okay right now? They're not being bullied, are they?
Not yet, but you know, it's no holds barred once you actually walk into our territory inside Scotiabank Arena. But yeah, mostly blue and white. Of course, we're here at the home of the Leafs, but there is some red and white as well. So look at this gentleman. I just want to ask you haven't been bullied yet, have you?
No, not yet. I was told to go home by one person, but I live here, so.
Okay, why the red and white? Why do you support the Habs?
My mom was born in Montreal, and I was a goalie myself, and I've always been a fan of Patrick Roy.
I mean, Patrick Roy, one of Canada's treasures. You can't blame me for that. Yeah. Enjoy the game. Thanks so much. Thank you. It's going to be a rivalry for the ages, though, Andrew Bakari. I mean, this is one of the original 6 rivalries. It's a great way to kick off the Leafs regular season, of course. You're going to see a lot of energy, a lot of tension, probably a lot of booze, maybe some fisticuffs inside this arena a little bit later on for the Leafs. This is a bit of a brand new team. Yes, they've still got some members of the original Fab Five, now the Core Four, with Matthew Nyes slipping into the Core Four for Mitch Marner, who's now playing for the Vegas Golden Knights. There's a new right winger playing with Austin and Nyes on the first line as well. And we heard Morgan Riley, veteran defenseman, today saying this is a fresh start. It is a clean slate for these guys, for Leafs fans. They're hoping for a spectacular season after last year's disappointing postseason showing by these Leafs. Here's a bit of what Craig Berube, our coach, had to say earlier today.
We're all excited to get going. Camp gets long. Guys they want to play the real games, and no better way to start than playing the Montreal Canadiens.
You know how sometimes in the States, Republicans and Democrats get married? Well, here at home on this side of the border, it's kind of like when a Leafs fan and a Habs fan get married. So this is what happened with Leslie and Mark from Cambridge. How does this work? Did you know about this when you guys got together?
Yes, we did, for sure. Yeah.
You still decided to marry him.
That's right, yeah. It causes a little bit of problems sometimes, but not too bad.
Tell me about, I guess, what you expect tonight, because you guys have been to Leafs-Habs games before. What's the tension, the energy like, Mark?
Well, it's you don't get any better than a Habs-Leafs game, especially the home opener. It's so thrilling for the season to start, and it always ends up we're ready to kill each other by the end of the year. But it's all
about you and Leslie or the
no. My friends. They don't even answer at the end of the year, especially last year.
Leafs fans weren't too happy at the end of last year either. Leslie, what are you hoping for this time? They've got a bit of a brand new team. Marner's gone, but there's some new energy.
Well, I was 7 when they won the last Stanley Cup, and I'm 65 now, and I want them to win a Stanley Cup in my lifetime. Yeah, for sure.
Is this the year?
And this is the year. It's got to be. It's a special year.
so.
No, it's got to be. Every year's the year, but this is the year. I have good feelings about this year.
Mark, you must hear that every year. This is the year.
Every year, always. Yeah, for 40 some odd years, whatever it's been. Yeah.
So who's sleeping on the couch tonight? Is it
Sleep upstairs, I sleep in the basement.
It comes to that. I hear that's how healthy marriages work when you don't sleep together anyways.
43 years.
Bless you guys. Thank you so much for talking.
you.
We enjoy the game. Appreciate it. Thank you. And I mean, that kind of energy is what this is all about. No matter who you're cheering for, it's going to be just a great show on the ice tonight. The puck drops at 7. And Andrew, I'm curious for you, as a Toronto native who lived in Montreal, who do you cheer for during Leafs-Habs games?
I'll always cheer for the Leafs. I like watching the Canadians play more because they don't play dump and chase hockey. The way that the Canadians play, my dad used to play at St. Mike's. He taught me how to play hockey as a kid, or tried to. And the Leafs play a really aggressive hockey. They're a really good team. But the Canadians play old school style. You pass, fluid motion, it looks nicer, and it's more beautiful hockey, and that just makes me want to watch it more. So that's my answer.
All right. That's a good answer. And look, I imagine a lot of people in the stands will be watching the Jays on their phones as well while sitting in their seats. If you're a Toronto sports fan today, there's lots to cheer about. Let's hope at least one of these teams wins tonight.
I'm sure one will. Beatrice Vaisman reporting outside the Scotiabank Arena. We're going to take a quick break on Live at 5, but we have some news to report from City Hall. A motion has been passed on speed cameras. We'll tell you about them as we talk with the Minister of Transportation next.
Well, as the debate over speed cameras continues in the province, Toronto City Council has passed Mayor Olivia Chow's motion to strengthen the program.
Now, Chow's motion includes larger warning signs for drivers where speed cameras are present and a grace period for first offenses. There is some updates to it. We'll break it down further on this evening. But right now, for a closer look, we have a guest, right, Bakari?
Yeah, we're joined live by Ontario Minister of Transportation, Prabmeet Sarkaria. Minister, thank you very much for joining us. So first off, we have this passage by the Toronto City Council. Also, wanted to get your thoughts as another speed camera has been cut down in the city.
Well, first of all, I don't agree with any sort of vandalism. There's no room for that. There's no right for any individual to do that, and so nobody should be doing that. Our approach to this has always been about ensuring, that the drivers that are entering into these school zones do so in a safe manner. And we do not believe that getting a ticket 3 weeks later is the best approach to doing that. We need to implement traffic calming measures that stop the individual at the point of entry into a school zone, which would be the most effective way, whether it's a roundabout, whether it's a speed bump, or a combination of other traffic calming measures.
And we can definitely talk more about what possibilities there are. That being said, Minister, we want to play you something coming from the mayor today as she was doing a bit of a press conference, but talking about some potential fines that have been linked back to government workers. Listen to this.
12 times in the past 3 years, there's some that were caught 50K over the speed limit, as high as 160K an hour. By God, no wonder they don't like speed cameras, because they catch them while they're breaking the law. Okay? 162K, my God. 50K over the speed limits, 12 times in the past 3 years. Do you think that's played a role for you? I'm just looking at the facts right here. If they're speeding, they got caught. Maybe that's why they don't like these cameras, because they're breaking the law.
You're hearing there, Minister, from our mayor talking about about roughly 24 government and different cabinet ministers' vehicles that have speeding tickets, according to reports, numbering 3,000 or more in fines. What do you have to say about what's what the mayor's saying, and she said she's speaking facts there.
Well, look, first and foremost, totally unacceptable to have to be breaking the law, whether it comes to speeding and not following the posted limits. It's about safety and ensuring that individuals can't travel those speeds. And what our position has been is to ensure that, somebody getting a ticket 3 weeks later usually doesn't know that they're speeding through a zone. So why don't we tackle it at the point of entry, which is done by traffic calming measures. Look, the City of Toronto the province of Ontario issued close to 1.3 million tickets this year, or a year from today. So we know that there's a huge number of tickets being issued. It's not an effective program. It's punishing taxpayers and taking money out of hardworking families. What we really need to focus on is slowing people down. And in doing so, especially in school zones, we need to ensure that people can't get over, posted speed limits when we're trying to protect children in these very vulnerable positions and areas. So that's been our approach. We're going to work with the municipalities through funding mechanisms to help them be able to achieve that and accomplish that. But ultimately, we do not believe getting a ticket 3 weeks later is the best approach to that.
But Minister, just responding to that, there are studies, including from Sick Kids that we've talked about before, that just having speed cameras does effectively reduce speeding vehicles in school zones by 45%. And just on top of that, when we talk about these being a cash grab, that's something I know your boss likes to say quite a bit. When we look at this may be something taking money out of people's pockets, but it's also, if we do end speed cameras, we'd be taking money out of, the provincial government's coffers as well. Roughly 11% of all fines, according to the City of Toronto's own documents, end up in the province's hands. And that's actually 24% for the province, 40% going to actually help the Vision Zero program, and that includes funding the Toronto Police Road Safety Program. Do you think that this is not a good way to be using a tool, according to the city, to incentivize people to slow down?
Well, I'll address the first part of your question as well. Look, if we want to limit the speed of individuals entering into a zone, it's still, my position on that would be, how do we get that individual to not speed ever again? And one of the only ways to do so is by having speed bumps, for example. It doesn't matter if you're traveling 100 kilometers, 70 kilometers. If you have a speed bump in front of you, you are forced to slow your vehicle down. A camera does not force you to slow a vehicle down. So if we're trying to limit to the most extent possible, the highest extent possible, the speed of an individual trying to get into a school zone, there's nothing more effective than either a roundabout, a speed bump that can be installed, greater and higher flashing lights that can also be put forward. I know the mayor has mentioned some of the supports, like victim services supports. Those will continue to be funded through the government as a part of this program. So those are the provincial contributions. Now, the City of Toronto collected over $40 million from this program just last year. One camera, handing over 70,000 tickets, just one individual camera. So is that very effective in calming or slowing speeders down in that area? If one camera is issuing 70,000 tickets, I don't think so. I think we need to look at a different approach that doesn't punish the pocketbook, but actually gives us a result of slowing people down in those very in those community or school zones.
Okay. Ontario Minister of Transportation, Zakaria, thank you very much for your time. It's 5:53, 13 degrees. This is Live at 5. We'll be right back.
All right, we got to make sure we talk as much as possible about the Blue Jays. They have another chance to get those Yankees out of the ALDS.
Okay, CP24's Phil Perkins continues our live coverage from the Bronx inside Yankee Stadium. Okay, Phil, have the Jays been there for batting practice yet? Yeah, are they inside Yankee Stadium?
Yeah, they're inside. Oh, yeah, they've been here for a while. They've been working out. That's what they do. That's all part of their program. They were out here taking batting practice. Did not see George Springer. Did not see Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Obviously, they're playing. They're in the starting lineup. But there's mainly guys like Nathan Lucas, who did not play at all yesterday. He is getting the start. And one thing I noticed that was really cool, he's wearing this T-shirt that says underdog. The under is scratched out, just says dog. Maybe he's got that dog in him. And it says Canada versus the world. He's not Canadian, but it just shows that these guys are bought in, that this is Canada's team. In the city of New York, there's two teams. You got the Mets and you got the Yankees. Sure, one's in Bronx, one's in Queens, but the city is divided. With the Blue Jays, there's no division. Maybe there's some people in Windsor who like the Tigers, but this is Canada's team, and you can see guys like Nathan Lucas, who's a blue-collar dude, earned his way to this point in his career. He was drafted in 2015, played 600 minor league games, and he finds himself now in a meaningful role in a very meaningful game for the Toronto Blue Jays. They win, they punch their ticket to the ALCS, and they lose, they go back home to the Rogers Centre where they are 54-27. Back to you guys.
Canada's team. There's Phil again. Okay, we almost lost him. Just so people know this, even the Montreal Expos dead Twitter account posted the Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Grand Slam, including the French play-by-play. So this is Canada's team, even where they used to have a team themselves. Phil, how are you feeling right now?
I don't know. I feel like because it's such a weird game, like in a playoff game, you're having a bullpen game. You don't have a Chris Bassett. You don't have a Max Scherzer, former Cy Young winner. You don't have them starting, so you just have a mishmash of some of the bullpen arms who we saw get worked in Game 2 and last night up against Cam Schlittler, who is a rookie starting his first ALDS game. He was lights out against the Red Sox in the wild card, but this is the third time he's played the Blue Jays. They got the report on him, and I just think the fact just how weird this game is, I have a strange feeling that we could be having a champagne party tonight. Yesterday, I didn't feel good about a sweep. You don't come into Yankee Stadium and sweep the Yankees. At that point, they won 10 games out of 13 when facing elimination at home. It's just not going to happen. I don't know. I just think the fact that it's a very odd setup for what I feel is a must-win game, because you don't want the Yankees thinking that they can win 3 straight and do something at the Rogers Centre Friday. Shut it out now. I have a good feeling.
Well, speaking of odd setups, this is an odd setup to the end of the show. Thank you, Phil.
No problem.
All right, CP24's Phil Perkins live from the Bronx Yankee Stadium. It's 5:59, 13 degrees. This is Toronto's breaking news, CP24.
The City of Toronto hosting its own official viewing party for the Jays game tonight. We'll take you to Mel Aspen Square, and you got a goodbye shot right here from there.